What if humanity received a warning? Not today, not 1,000 years ago, but more than 10,000 years before history even began. Deep in modern-day Turkey lies Gobekli Tepe, the oldest known temple on Earth, and within its ancient circular enclosures, one carving stands apart from all the others. Pillar 43, known as the Vulture Stone. It's a mysterious slab, covered in strange and haunting symbols: vultures, a headless human figure, scorpions, and what appears to be a star map so impossibly advanced, it has baffled scientists since its discovery. Some believe the stone tells a story of a long-lost people. Some believe it's a prophecy, a glimpse into a cosmic cycle, and a growing number of researchers claim it's something far more chilling, a warning left for us across the abyss of time. Today, we journey back to the dawn of civilization to decode the secrets of the Vulture Stone and ask, what cataclysmic event did our ancestors witness, and are we destined to see it again? In 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt and his team began excavating Gobekli Tepe, they knew they had found something extraordinary. But it wasn't until they unearthed Pillar 43 that the true scale of its mystery became clear. This wasn't just a collection of animal carvings. It was a narrative, a complex scene etched in limestone by hunter-gatherers more than 11,000 years ago. Let's look closer at what they carved. The scene is dominated by a large vulture, its wing outstretched. In one of its hands it appears to hold a sphere or a disc. Below it, a headless human figure lies limp. Surrounding them are other animals, a prominent scorpion, other birds, and serpents. This wasn't random art. The precision and placement of each symbol suggest it was a message, carved with profound intention by a people we thought was simple and primitive. For decades, archaeologists assumed these were purely symbolic or shamanistic scenes, perhaps depicting death rituals or celestial spirits. The vulture was often associated with carrying the dead to the heavens. The headless man, a common motif in the ancient Near East, represented death. It seemed like an open and shut case of ancient funerary art, but that interpretation was about to be blown wide open. Two researchers, Martin Sweetman and Dimitrios Sakritsis from the University of Edinburgh, looked at the Vulture Stone and saw something else entirely. They weren't just looking at animals, they were looking at stars. They proposed a groundbreaking and controversial theory. The animals on the stone are not just animals, they are zodiacal symbols, representing constellations. And the entire stone is a date stamp, marking a specific, catastrophic event in the sky. Their hypothesis is electrifying. The scorpion, they argue, corresponds directly to the constellation Scorpius. The vulture, which they interpret as an eagle or a swan, aligns with the constellation Sagittarius. And the other animal symbols, like the wolf and the bird, match other constellations like Lupus and Pisces. Using computer software to wind back the night sky, they found that these constellations appeared in the exact same arrangement around the year 10,950 BC. This date is astonishingly significant. It coincides perfectly with the beginning of a dramatic and sudden climate shift known as the Younger Dryas. The Younger Dryas was a planetary cold snap, a mini-iced age that plunged the northern hemisphere back into glacial conditions for over 1,000 years. Its onset was shockingly abrupt. One moment, the world was warming after the last major ice age. The next, temperatures plummeted. Scientists have long debated what could have caused such a rapid change. The leading theory, a cosmic impact, a fragmented comet, known as the Taurid meteor stream, is believed to have slammed into the Earth or exploded in the atmosphere, triggering global cooling, mass extinctions, and widespread devastation. Now, look back at the Vulture Stone. Remember the sphere held by the vulture. Sweetman and his colleague argued this isn't a sun or a moon. It represents the incoming comet, the agent of destruction. The animals or constellations are not just a map of the sky. They are a clock, pinpointing the moment of impact. The pillar wasn't just a piece of art, it was an astronomical observation post, recording a civilization-altering catastrophe. If this is true, it means that 11,000 years ago, hunter-gatherers possessed a sophisticated understanding of precession, the slow wobble of the Earth's axis, and used it to date an event with stunning accuracy. This is astronomical knowledge we previously thought was only developed thousands of years later by the Babylonians and Greeks. This discovery flips our understanding of prehistory on its head. These weren't just simple hunter-gatherers, they were keen-eyed skywatchers, survivors of a cosmic event who developed a complex system of symbolic astronomy to document what they had witnessed. Gobekli Tepe, then, becomes more than a temple. It becomes a monument to a global disaster, an archive of a lost memory. But the most haunting part of the message is the symbol that represents humanity itself. At the bottom of the Vulture, the headless human figure remains the most disturbing and evocative symbol of all. For decades, it was interpreted as a representation of death in a spiritual or ritual context. But if the Vulture Stone is a record of a cosmic impact, this figure takes on a far more terrifying meaning. It represents death on a massive scale. It's not just one person. It's a symbol for the devastation of humanity. It says a chilling depiction of what happened to the people who lived through the Younger Dryas impact. Could this be the story of a civilization that was nearly wiped out? A people who saw their world consumed by fire from the sky, followed by 1,000 years of ice and darkness? They were the survivors. And when they finally emerged from that dark age, they built Gobekli Tepe. They carved the Vulture Stone not just as a memorial, but as a testament. They inscribed their trauma into the rock, creating a permanent record of the day the sky fell. The headless man isn't just a victim, he's an ancestor. He is the collective memory of a near-extinction event. There are other interpretations, of course. Some archaeologists maintain that the headless figure relates to the sky burial practices, where bodies were left for vultures to consume, a way to release the soul to the heavens. In this view, the vulture isn't a symbol of a constellation, but a sacred psychopomp, a guide for the soul. The headless figure isn't a victim of disaster, but a soul on its journey. But even in this spiritual interpretation, there's a sense of cosmic significance. The stone could mark the death of an age, a shift in human consciousness, a time when the relationship between the earth and the sky was fundamentally broken and remade. Whether a physical cataclysm or a spiritual one, the message is the same. The world as they knew it had ended. So, was the Vulture Stone a historical record, a spiritual text, or something more? Was it actually a warning? This is where the theory takes its most speculative and fascinating turn. If a civilization-threatening comet swarm, like the Taurid meteor stream, hit the Earth once, it's bound to happen again. The Earth passes through the densest part of this debris field periodically. The Vulture Stone, with its precise astronomical dating, could be interpreted as a message from the survivors. A message that says, "This happened, we documented it. Pay attention to the skies because it will happen again." Think about the sheer effort involved. These people moved 50-ton megaliths and spent generations carving these intricate pillars. Why? Perhaps because the memory of the catastrophe was so profound, they felt a duty to pass it on. They didn't have writing, so they used the most permanent language they knew, the language of the stars, etched in stone. They were creating a time capsule, a warning for a distant future they could barely imagine, but a future they knew would eventually face the same cosmic threat. Other theorists, like Graham Hancock, propose an even more radical idea. What if Gobekli Tepe wasn't built by hunter-gatherers at all? What if it was built by the survivors of a much older, more advanced lost civilization in Atlantis that was destroyed during the Younger Dryas? In this view, the survivors, stripped of their technology, used the tools they had, stone and manual labor, to build a monument. The Vulture Stone, then, becomes a desperate attempt to preserve their advanced astronomical knowledge for a future generation that might one day be able to decode it. It's a message in a bottle, thrown across an ocean of 12,000 years. Whether it was a historical record, a spiritual marker, or a prophetic warning, the message of the Vulture Stone is clear. Something extraordinary happened, something that changed the course of human history forever. And the people of Gobekli Tepe wanted us to know. They pointed to the sky and left a riddle for the ages. Today, the Vulture Stone stands silent in a Turkish museum. Its symbols older than writing, older than cities, older than the story of civilization as we know it. We may never know for certain what its creators intended. Was it a memorial for the dead, a prophecy of a cosmic cycle, or a direct, urgent warning from the ancient world? A reminder that our existence on this planet is fragile, and that the sky holds both beauty and terror. Whatever the truth, Gobekli Tepe holds a message carved in stone for a future it could never have imagined our future. It forces us to reconsider who our ancestors were and what they knew, and it leaves us with a profound and unsettling question. Have we finally gotten the message, or are we ignoring a warning from the dawn of time? Thanks for journeying with us into the past. If you love exploring the world's oldest and most profound mysteries, make sure to subscribe to Mystery Vault and hit the bell icon. We're unearthing new secrets every week. Until next time, keep questioning.